Yo, I'm rating this Riftmaker, I suppose, meme build on Yone. By the way, I'm a challenger coach, so let's see. Why should you build Riftmaker Blender Yone? Okay. How do you think of this, and are you mentally deranged? Yes, I'm mentally deranged and my main champion cannot maintain a positive win rate ever. However, the build is not troll. I guess it's not troll then. The thought process. The reasoning for going this build is because of Riot being a funny company and deciding to overbuff tanks and introducing these disgusting items like Jack Show, a champion like Yone, or any other champions that who function similarly to him cannot deal damage to tanks where you're not supposed to deal damage to tanks. Well, the idea of Yone is that you have your ultimate and you can get picks or maybe have your Q, but your main goal is not really to focus tanks. But that's what a lot of people don't get it. Like even if you play Yone, that's not always the main focus for you to like front to back non-stop. Cannot deal with tanks at all, so I wondered and thought there must be a way around it. This is when I found Blade of the Ring with Sand Riftmaker combo. Blade of the Ring is generally good on Yone and it's on Beorterka. Blade of the Ring fuck, I'm so tired. On its own is such a powerful item for Yone, it gives him practically everything he needs. It caps his attacks, but it gives disgusting damage and great healing. The only two things it doesn't give compared to shield bow are crit and shield. Yone, despite having half of his passive be based off crit, has been seen to perform with Blade of King as a However, that item just fall off extremely hard when going crit. Yone Blade of the Ring shield bow spike is 2s compared to shield bow IE spike. So I began to wonder if I could pair Blade of the Ring with something else to match shield bow and IE damages output. So he has some type of practice tool content in here. I did actually legit the same practice tooling. Level 13 of course, Q deals 237, 201, so I deal a tiny bit more damage for some reason. Level 13 as he is, so then again the other build is supposed to deal more damage, right? Blade of the King and with Smabat, so this is his damage, 232 on Q. And so that's his damage, right? Now this build is supposed to deal more damage, 293 and 239. Okay. So it says 293 with Bork. So combined together it's something like that actually. It's like few more, I think it's like 295 or something for me. Then your basic attack is 239. But that's the thing, like, oops, wrong target. But that's the thing, like 241. It's similar to his. Now that's the thing that some people don't get it. Of course I'm gonna deal lots of damage to a target that has 2100 HP with Borg. But when you keep basic attacking, what's gonna happen? Your DPS gonna drastically drop. You can see this. Now, same as your Q damage, because it all depends on Borg. But for example, if I sell these, right, and if you initiate with ult and maybe use your W or something, then arguably what's gonna happen that they're gonna lose some degree of HP, and of course not every person gonna have this amount of HP and armor. Then for example you can see this, like that's a really bad comparison because it only shows the upfront damage when Borg gets a lot of value, but for example in here we can see that the DPS doesn't shrink as hard as the one on the other item, of course, right? Now the other thing is that with the other build you can deal a lot of damage to squishes, right? Now let's see what's the other argument. So why would you go Riftmaker third when you can go Infinity's Edge third, right? So let's say like I go your build, right? I go with Sand and the other item, what was it? With Sand and then Blade, right? Now in here you could go Riftmaker, right? That's his goal, to go Riftmaker third, I suppose. So then what's his thing? How the fuck does that even make sense? I'm going to be honest, I have absolute no clue why going Blade of Drinking and Wits completely ignoring Yone's passive does more damage excluding on the ult, where I mean your ult does matter actually. Your ult does about 12 more damage, but who the fuck is landing that dog shit anyways? But the fact that Bork with which does deal more damage and offers more resistance, it doesn't really offer way more resistance actually. MR from Wits, and it's exactly 400 gold cheaper. That is either one of full gold kill and a whole wave, or about 4 whole waves cheaper. Now the thing is, your wave killer is generally better, and what you should assume that your AoE damage gonna be way smaller with Yone, because the issue is that the on hit effects only gonna apply to the first target. It does not apply to the second one. So if there is a tank in the front line or some bruisers or whatever, then it's gonna be fucky, because you're only gonna deal damage with your Q to the first target. So if there is a Braum or someone sitting in top of the AD carry, your Q won't get the on hit procs value. So here's the thing, this is his third item, right? So in here we can see it with our eyes that of course is procs, right? The Riftmaker does proc 516, that's not much, right? Now if I get Infinity second, or arguably maybe you could get Infinity after you get the crit cloak, up to you. You could combine them, right? Now in here what happens is just let's just stack up little tempo, right? Way more damage, right? Now in the other one I did not stack up little tempo, I think when I eat, I'm not sure, but the thing is it doesn't make more sense to go Rift than going Infinity, right? In fact, if you go for a crit cloak, then your crits are insanely more consistent, so now we pretty much crit almost every time. So it doesn't really make sense to go for Riftmaker like ever over going for this build. It just doesn't make sense more than Infinity's Edge does, right? Then the other issue is that, let's see. Okay, so Bladoric Witze is better, but why not to go regular AD tank mythic after? Today I will build Kraken after Bork with Clueless. 0 healing, additional true damage. Jack show, haha. TLDR would be Riftmaker is just the best tank shredder option. The bonus HP feels decent, and the Omnivan bonus damage combo is just way too powerful. Shieldbow building crit at this point is just roll despair and will leave you with less than 3 items compared to Riftmaker, and you will be pretty cocked until you can buy the IE fort, which also is very hefty investment. Gear for the worst crit option between Shieldbow and Kraken. It doesn't offer any beefiness, Shieldbow does, but it provides you kill pressure. I mean, this is not great. Kraken, Eclipse is never good. These are not good either. Tank mythics, sometimes people go for them, but these are not the best. Does this mean I can only go Rift with the Blade build? No, you can build whatever the fuck you want. It's just a video game. Just Riftmaker is disgustingly strong in this tank meta. That's kind of delusional though, because you're only gonna get a small percentage of damage. Like for example, even if I don't go, for example, for Riftmaker, you could go Lord Dominic's, right? So this is your Q damage. For example, squishy targets, right? You're gonna deal more damage. So champions that have more HP to you, you're gonna get more value out of it and more armor. So, for example, a Q, 342 plus 32, something like that, if I remember correctly. It's like 84, right? 384, my bad. Now what's gonna happen? My basic attack does 349 plus how much? 60 plus like 32 again, so it's just basically same thing, equals 81, right? Something like that. So I think it's something like that if I'm correct, 381. Fuck, cannot type at this point. And again, your ult gonna deal more damage as well, and your other abilities that scale with AD. So now for example in here I get Riftmaker, right? Now Riftmaker only gonna provide you damage if you proc the passive, so it's like it's always gonna be lower without doing any type of math. But let's say hypothetically we're gonna proc somehow Riftmaker, right? Which takes time to proc, just to be clear, right? Now in here what's gonna happen, your Q does not do too much damage. I mean, it does some, but the true damage is not too big. Like, can you guys see the true damage numbers? 15, 10, 14, 1, that's almost nothing. That's almost nothing. And now you don't have damage. It's almost nothing actually. Build paths chart. Phantom Dancer, Blade, Elect Cleaver, Witsend, Blade of the Ranking, whatever want, whatever the game calls. Where can I find idiot who thought of this and clips of it? It's a clip of it, my bad. A video from High Glide channel involving Rift Maker Young gameplay. Do we wanna click this? This looks like one of those links, man. Streamed on twitch.tv. I'm 18-year-old, 2 times Grandmaster on main, but I do play a lot more. I hope he keeps playing with this build and I get him against me. I hope he play a bit of action. Yeah, so said Pentium, Viego and Silas. Message me on this. I mean, it's kind of funny, right? Like, these are kind of funny memes in here. Is it worth to go Rift Maker? No. It's just not great, man. Yeah, it's just not great. And you can't even say, like, just build whatever you want to. You just can't. It's like, you just can't. Like, if you play in ranked, you just can't. Just go Rift Maker, man. And you can't even say it's a personal preference, you know. You just can't say it's a personal preference. You can click these things, can you pull them? No, you can't.